Bonjour and bienvenidos. We're talking about dogs fighting in the same home. Who knows, maybe a fight will break out during this recording. It's about, it's about to, apparently. This is living with dogs, and this is why I'm going to give you a list. It's very important to understand it's never just one thing. It's typically not just one dog or one family member or just you causing the problem. It's a series of things, and understanding all the factors, and then the biggest thing is, are you prepared to change? This topic, dogs fighting in the same home, is something that, as a dog trainer that coaches dog trainers, I go, that's one of like 4 situations that I go, in your first year, maybe don't take it on. Because most dog trainers are eager to work with clients, but this is so client dependent on, are you going to do your work? Parker, come. Are you going to listen and follow the rules? And what happens to dog trainers is they get very discouraged when the client doesn't have 100% success, but really it has very little, it has very little to do with the trainer's instructions and everything to do with, are you actually following the rules? That's going to make a big change. So I'm trying to do these in order, but okay, get down. I don't want you right there. It's going to be terrible audio. It's the young German Shepherd panting in my ear. Go, get down. Okay, so 1, genetics. Some dogs, it doesn't matter what situation you put them in, they don't fight. And other dogs, it seems to not matter which situation you put them in, they're going to fight anyway. Throughout this, you're going to see these guys chomping on each other, being rough with each other, making each other yip and whine. Now, these dogs could fight, but it would take a certain situation. We're going to get into that. But genetics, some dogs are battle-bred dogs. Some dogs, especially ones from that I've seen fight the most, is like, I don't like to say, there we go, don't like to say breeds specifically, but terriers. So you got pit bull terriers, you got Jack Russell terriers, any sort of terrier. Anytime you mix terrier into the genetics, and then you fight those dogs, like intentionally fight them, and then breed those dogs, like a lot of pet owners are very naive to the fact that dog fighting is very popular. It's everywhere. Like, I'm here in Nova Scotia, friendliest people, some of the friendliest people in the world, there are dog fighting rings here. Typically in like drug dealers, super sketchy people groups. Obviously, you got to be kind of messed up to fight dogs, but it happens. And then those dogs, some of the dogs are just bait dogs, and then they have puppies, and all of that stress, all of that epigenetics of just like constant stress gets passed on. The desire to fight gets passed. Oh, you got a winner. You got a dog that wins a lot. That dad's going to have a bunch of puppies. Not all those puppies are going to pan out. Sometimes there's raids where they take all of the dogs and then they ship them up to Canada, typically. But like I said, there's dog fighting that happens here. But I see it a lot with pity mixes from Texas and Georgia and the southern states. Not so much dogs that come from like the Caribbean or South America. But, this little dog here, Peepa, she will throw down if push comes to shove. If another dog says, I'm going to fight, she will not let up, which is why her e-collar, and we'll get into this more in a minute here, this is what she started with when she came. She started with 1 RX-90 and then moved to 2 because 1 wouldn't stop her when she decided she was going to fight. Parker, come. And he's just wearing it because it is even disbursement of pressure. He doesn't really need a double. It just sits better on his coat, and I had an extra. So genetics, super huge. Then comes personality, okay? So let's step back a minute. You can't change genetics, but you can apply control in the other elements that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. So personalities. Some dogs I call spicy. Like Peepa is a spicy little dog. You'll see her push around this German Shepherd here. The puppy German Shepherd She's not a puppy anymore. She's a teenager, but she loves to be pushed, and Peepa loves to push her. She likes to be rough and tumble and all of that stuff. Parker, come on down. So she's what I would call a spicy dog. She's looking for trouble. She likes to pounce. She likes to play tug and be rough and whatnot. And that's a real personality thing. So you can have a bunch of dogs in the same litter, same genetics, but some of them are spicier than others. And when you mix in a household genetics and then personality, you got a bunch of spicy dogs, or you have a very submissive dog like Vogue here. Vogue, come. She likes to be submissive. Now, if she were who she is, but more of a battle-bred dog and more insecure than she is, it's typically the insecure ones that then take us too far. They go, hey, I've got a submissive dog. I'm insecure, but I want to act big and tough. And like very confident dog. You just see she walks around, she moves, she doesn't care, but she'll throw down too. Only so far. She's never put holes in dogs, but she'll pin them, she'll roll them, she'll give out a big correction to them. But she doesn't grab, bite, and shake, which is the real sign of a true fight. Parker, come down. Come over here. Good boy. So personality within the litter, combining that within the household makes it's a big factor. Okay, then the biggest thing, so you can't control personality and you can't control genetics, but you can control the third factor, which is rules. Most of the time in a household where dogs are fighting, it's because it's a free-for-all. And what I mean by a free-for-all is and sometimes it's even just missing one of these rules. Like if I had a bunch of dogs like Vega, I wouldn't have to do hardly any of these rules. But when you combine personalities, like Peepa and Vega have fought. By the way, you're not alone in this. Like, just because I'm a professional dog trainer, I've had dogs that I went, okay, this is too stressful. I've worked through this as much as I can. I don't want to maintenance this anymore. I'm going to rehome one of the dogs. And for other situations, like Peepa and Vega were fighting a bit when I first got them because she was super spicy and would try to push. And if I didn't have all these rules in place and I wasn't the leader for them in a way that they went, oh yeah, okay, you're in charge, then I probably wouldn't be able to keep them. So rules. Most families that have dogs fighting in the same home, it's the dogs are allowed on any or all of the furniture, especially sleeping in bed. Sorry, somebody's, oh, here we go. The big old motorcycle. It's got to blast the music and show everyone we got straight pipes. Can't be too mad, that used to be me. I used to have very, very straight pipes. And then I grew up. I really, serious. In a lot of ways, I still wish I had them. Okay, so sleeping in bed, allowed on all the furniture, bowls of food out. I don't know that I see that one as much because the fights would have happened way earlier, but that is a factor. Free food, free resources, out. Toys are all over the place. There's 10,000 toys. Like dogs are just no crates. Dogs are just free ranging, allowed to do what they want when they want to do it. That's a huge, huge factor. And that's the factor. That's the thing that most people, free affection. Oh, free affection. That's a big one. Most people think it's cruel to not give their dogs, not most people whose dogs are fighting in the same home, think it's cruel that this one and this one can't get affection at the same time. Well, if I'm allowed to have this one on the couch, they both need to be allowed on the couch. Life doesn't need to be fair. And as a result, hey, go on. As a result, that's why you have dogs fighting in the home. It's easier to just go, nobody's allowed on the couch, which is so hard for some people to go, oh, he's dying. Look, we're watching a movie and he's not allowed to snuggle. You can snuggle your dog, but not both of them out at the same time. The last client not the last client I worked with this on, but the last client that I worked with who had a relapse, English Mastiff, French Bulldog. And the last factor that she didn't let up on was the couch. She'd let one dog on at a time. Well, the Mastiff didn't see, or the Frenchie, or one of them didn't see that the other one was up on the couch. Boom, launched up. Yeah, the Frenchie jumped onto the Mastiff that was on the couch. The Mastiff has a torn cruciate as well, if not two. So extra cranky. Gut is probably potentially still off. They haven't been on their hormone supplements since she got spayed. And dog fight. English Mastiff and a Frenchie. Imagine. So not following the rules is super hard for people. So when someone contacts me and they go, hey, I've got dogs fighting in the house, I lay out all these rules. I tell them, here's how difficult it's going to be for you. Because you need to commit to this. I'm not cheap to work with, and I'll help you. I'll help you with all the things I can help you with. I'll be there to support you. But if you're not going to do the work, what's the point? Vega, come on. Come here. Place. Good dog. That's on to the next thing. No, which is obedience. Being able to do that. I've never taught her to place on that. Or even just that, just get out of here, and to actually have them listen, and to not have it be constant, that I can say, lay down and listen. Hey, no. Vogue, come. And sometimes with obedience, you need to have tools that allow you to have control, especially when you have dogs fighting in the home, including muzzles. People hate the idea of having to muzzle your dog. Well, do you want to have a leash on them all the time? Do you want to have them separated all the time? Because a baby gate with two dogs decide to fight is not stopping anybody. Lack of obedience, lack of control. Now, obedience for me is like 4 or 5 things. Even if you just had come, sit, lay down, and place. And I don't teach place a lot anymore, but when you have dogs that are fighting in the home, you need to be able to go, you there, and not have confusion. You go to this bed, you go to this bed. You lay down, you go to the bed. You lay down, you lay down. That level of just boom. And you get that through food training and overlaying pressure, because food alone does not work when your dogs are deciding that they want to kill each other, or even have a massive argument, or they get super distracted and they go, neighbors over there, I want to go and bark, blah, blah, blah. They can't hear you unless I want to be screaming. Nice that I can just use, it's just set the vibration right now that I can go, hey, stop doing that. But she will not listen to vibration. I'm going to switch off of vibration for her, use stimulation, because she could care less about vibration. Nothing. Almost, unless she's like this, does she care about vibration? Watch. That's her response to vibration. So she was already coming over. Does that change? I'm literally holding down the vibration. This is her response. It's like, I'm slightly annoyed. I guess I'll go over here. But not when she's barking and all worked up. And that was his. Sometimes it's just having that break of focus. But the problem that people make with dogs that are fighting is they will go out and buy e-collars, and they hit the button when the dogs start fighting, and the dogs have no idea what it is, where it's coming from. They think it's coming from each other. It's not enough pressure to stop them, and even if it was, they get confused by it, and then it makes the behavior worse. Your dog needs to understand pressure. Your dog needs to have clear communication. And once you do that, and then health, once you get your dogs feeling healthy, so many dogs that are fighting feel like shit. Their guts all out of whack, they're on crap food, or they're on really good food and their guts out of whack. Their hormones are all over the place. Pregnant, never gone through a heat, whatever. Like I'm thinking pregnant because somebody reached out the other day about their dogs fighting. Well, one of them is pregnant, and the dog is a fighter. People keep breeding these dogs. This isn't the first time that this dog has shown these sides of behavior, but yet they're still breeding this dog. Super sketchy dog. super nervous about everybody. They're gonna breed her again. Super unfortunate. Those dogs are going to be out in the world. I mean, keeps me in business. Keeps me and all the trainers that work with me, keeps us in business, but it's so unfortunate. Like, that dog never should have been bred. Who I would love to meet that dog's parents to see how nervous and sketchy they are out in public. She's a sweet dog, but she's terrible anxiety, just general anxiety. So those are your reasons why dogs fight in the same home. You need to make a decision that you don't want them to fight anymore. And even then, you might choose that, you know what, it's too much work. It's too much expectation. We have family situations where it's like we've got young kids. We've got an open door policy. People are coming and going constantly. Maybe you need to rehome the dog. Maybe you need to euthanize the dog because the dog is just super dangerous. It grabs and shakes and wants to kill. That's a very dangerous dog. How many people can handle that? Personally, I think it's just professional dog trainers because they're like spot on with the rules. There's only so many hermits that live out in the middle of nowhere that want a dog like that. It's really hard. It's not easy, but that's my experience. Questions, comments, put them below. Know what you're loved. Bye, meow.